Hello, everyone. We have Kathy Cheng on our Research Mavericks podcast today. Kathy, we are very lucky and fortunate to have you on the podcast today. Welcome. If you don't mind, can you please share a bit about your background, experience, how you got into the research space with our audience today?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Sumit, for having me. I'm very happy to be here. So my background, I have been in the research industry for quite a long time. I started my career as a qualitative researcher. Later on, my second half of my career, I did both core and quant, but I consider myself deeply core. So about 8 years ago, there was an opportunity for me to look into ways to do surveys that is more engaging. It's almost like my personal mission because at some point I just felt like the whole industry was talking about bad respondents kicking out the bad people. I felt, but are we giving people the good experience? Because for qualitative researchers, the first thing we do is to build that rapport to find every way possible to engage people. So yeah, I was very fortunate to have had that opportunity 8 years ago. So basically, the idea was to blend qualitative capabilities into quantitative surveys. So fast forward 8 years. As of today, we have technologies built to enable that, which is our Inca.
That is fantastic. Combination of qualitative and quantitative research is definitely something new. Um, Maybe so we understand that's what inspired you to start next.
Mhm.
Was there any inspiration to solve this problem? Was there a real life event that inspired you to start Next Intelligence and start attacking this problem? Or was it a series of problems that you faced in your career and hence you started Next?
Yeah, I think it was a series of challenges. And in the second half of my career, I think again, as a qualitative researcher, I found it very difficult to comprehend how quantitative work, almost in a black box. um, I just felt we didn't really care about how people would interact with the quantitative survey. And I also felt even 8 years ago, technology was more advanced than what was utilized for market research. I think maybe one very concrete event was when I went to see my family doctor. She asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "Market research," and then she said immediately, "Oh, so you are the people who keep calling me at dinner time." So the tone. It just sounds like whatever you guys do, it's not something that I welcome. That's just not. I just felt why we work so hard in this industry, but we give people or participants this impression while we know that research participants should be the most precious resource for what we do. So there's just a lot of disconnect for me. I just felt if we realize, we appreciate that this is a problem. That's why the whole industry were trying to find ways to improve data quality, to remove the bad respondents. But if that is really a problem, maybe the source of the problem is the experience itself. So yeah, so another maybe concrete event that happened 8 years ago was an opportunity for me to understand, to do research to understand people's cultural orientations, which is considered the deepest layer of motivation. It's almost like the hidden assumption that guide us to do everything that we do. So for that kind of research, if we simply ask questions in a really boring way, we simply wouldn't be able to get the answers. We have, at that point, at least I thought we needed to use the guiding principles of qualitative research to ask questions in a way that is enabling, to be able to follow up so that we can understand deeper. But at the same time, in order to see the perspectives, to understand the context of everything, we did definitely need a quantitative as well. So yeah, that was probably. I mean, I'm also a big fan of design thinking. So in design thinking, it's all about understanding the extreme users. I thought that was just an extreme user use case for surveys. It's just a more difficult survey, more challenging survey. it needed a lot more depth, a lot more engagement than typical surveys. So yeah, fortunate enough when we I had the opportunity to work with um, an extreme user like that, ideas, we were forced to look for new solutions.
Perfect. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of work is next involved in, if you can give us some examples of projects, any client case study you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, so we work with a diverse group of clients and with very, very different use cases. So very exciting. Every day there's something new. Clients keep asking new questions, keep raising new challenges. So it's really, really exciting. So maybe broadly speaking, I think if I could generalize the inquiries that we receive from our clients, the bulk of them are more developmental needs.
So just for our, let's say, end users or customers of your clients
Mhm.
to understand what happens, or like a real life example, if you can share, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Maybe let me give you a few examples. Um, let's say the survey pre-programmed question is, what do you like about working in our company? Let's say it's an employee satisfaction survey. And then the employee said, the culture, which is a good answer. It's a concrete answer, but maybe we'd like to understand a little bit more about what specifically about culture. So what Inca does, what our Smart Probe API probing does, is then add a question, something possibly like, okay, that's good to hear. Can you tell me what specifically about our culture that you like? Just so that the question is two things. One is specific to the answer. Second is to nudge the employee to elaborate a little bit so that we get the specifics. So that's a common use case. A lot of times it's about showing that I understand what you say and then ask for elaboration or specifics. Maybe another example, we asked the question, why did you buy this detergent? And then the participant said, my wife told me so. So again, it's a good answer. It's not the participant did give the truest answer, but this doesn't give us. But why this particular detergent, or why at this time you needed to buy detergent? So then the follow up question, AI probing, is something like, okay, that's good to hear that your wife asked you to do to buy detergent, but what specifically did she ask you? That's probably a lengthy example. Please cut the second example. I find it really difficult to talk about examples without anything on the screen. Okay, maybe here's another example. A lot of times, I think it's interesting nowadays because of the quality check. Most of the platforms have very sophisticated quality check in place. Our respondents are trained to not give answers such as IDK, I don't know, no, nothing. They know that this is not good enough. But we have seen situations where people just give random answers that are not necessarily relevant to the question. I'll give you an example. One time we did a survey about social media. We asked the question, what do you think about social media in general? Someone said cucumber is green, which just has nothing to do with the question itself. So in situations as such, Inca Smart Probe will nudge the people in a very polite way. Just say something like, I'm not sure if I understand. Maybe can you tell me how that is related to social media? So nudges as such, they can be very effective because people understand, oh, actually you understand what I'm saying. I'm not going to be able to get away from saying anything. So we really believe it's reciprocal. If we show that we understand, we listen, we respect your answers, participants will make some effort to provide better answers.
That was great, Kathy. Thank you so much. Um, Moving on to the space in general, what challenges do you see in the research space today that technology vendors like you guys, us, should address?
I think there are lots of exciting things that we could probably try to tackle. It's almost like we now get to pick what we'd like to tackle. I think that's exciting. Um, I do think there are now concrete opportunities for technology providers like both of us to provide better experiences for our research participants. I mean, we started the journey with that goal with very limited resources at that time. Um, Now, with generative AI, with a lot of other technologies, even just the in terms of how interactive software interfaces can be, there are just a ton of opportunities. We can actually really make more human-like experiences, bring that humanness to surveys. I mean, it's almost weird to think about it. Um, we actually need technology to make surveys more human, which I think is actually true, because if you there there are a lot of people embracing technologies, but there are also people who feel like technology is only going to make things less human. But if we think about survey experiences in general as to date, um, can we really consider our survey experience human? I'm not sure if we can say that. So if that's the case, I feel like now technology solution providers, one of the things we should do is to tackle this industry problem of participants not wanting to do surveys, to tackle this problem as a whole, and then to tackle it from the source of the problem, which is how can we improve survey experiences. So, so yeah, I don't know how you think about it, Sumit, but I genuinely feel this is going to be the next thing. I mean, maybe this is, I'm being naive. Possibly never ever people will want to do surveys. But what if it's possible at some point in the future, people will actually want to do surveys? I mean, like my family doctor, if I say I do market research, what if my family doctor would otherwise say, "Oh wow, oh you guys, that's so interesting. I just did a chat with someone yesterday. It was really interesting." What if that could be the case? um, but I think nowadays it's possible. It's now up to us to use what's available. In the past, I'd say it's just simply not available. I mean, I always believe, I was told when I was a child, that there are only two kinds of people in the world. One, those who find pearls. The second, those who make pearl necklaces. Um, I I I think I consider myself the second type. I like to make things happen when the resources are there, just to like, then you apply your creativity to build solutions. But I think 8 years ago when we started the journey, we had a good ambition, but the resources, the pearls, were not necessarily available. But today the pearls are definitely available. It's up to us to make whatever kind of necklace that we'd like to make.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Really appreciate it. Just to close the loop on that, you asked me a question. I am a big believer in bringing the human touch to surveys, and pretty well demonstrated by the fact our CATI surveys, our telephone enabled surveys, where there is actually a live interviewer on the other side. But that being said, your question about how do I feel about bringing the human touch to, let's say, online surveys, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think it is an important mission that you guys are undertaking. And I am of the same opinion that more interactive you make the surveys,
Mhm.
it will enable people to share their voice, share their opinions in and however they want to, right? Is it in person? Is it online? Is it, on an automated call? Whatever the mode they prefer. So I am 100% with you. This technology needs to evolve. We need to engage the respondents more, right?
Mhm.
And give them the freedom to express their opinions. I mean, as you said, of course, there are many types of people in the world. Some of them are very expressive. They want to let the brand know how they feel about them,
Mm-hmm.
right? The other ones are more silent. So we need to do a bit more probing to your point, right?
Mm-hmm.
The last category of people, they just don't want to interact with the surveys at all
Mm-hmm.
because they could be cumbersome, not interactive. So I think it's the last two categories where we can make a big difference. So more opinions we get, better it is for the world, better it is for the brands
Mm-hmm.
to get aware of their weaknesses and strengths and brand recognition, etc. So that's what I would say to that question, Kathy.
Mm, yeah, I think it's really, really good to reflect on the history. I think, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, in the past, before online survey became a thing, it was telephone survey or in person, in-depth interviews at certain scale. But once online survey became available, that speed, the cost saving, just it was impossible to resist that. So I felt like at that time it's almost a trade-off between quality and speed and cost. But maybe moving forward, there are opportunities to leverage technology, the newer technology, to achieve not just speed and cost savings, but also better quality.
100%. So let me move on to the next question. What excites you the most in the research space today? You mentioned generative AI. You mentioned its application in probing and coding. Uh, what else excites you? Or maybe if you can go deeper into either one of those, that will be great for our audience.
So yeah, generative AI is definitely very exciting for me. I think the application that we have seen today is probably only the tip of the iceberg. I do believe there will be more and more applications very soon, very soon. I mean, from our perspective, we adopt generative AI, we train generative AI for very specific purposes for probing, for conversations. We want to stay true to what we do. We want to leverage conversational aspect to engage participants to get more deeper insights, but also to help researchers, for example, to allow researchers to use natural conversation to query findings to get insights much faster than before. So those are all what we currently do, or maybe down the road in the near future. But what excites me even more is the possibility of a lot of things throughout the research process. Really, everything I feel like. Even though our platform we're focusing on only parts of the research process, but I'm sure very soon other platforms, or maybe they're already doing that, there will be solutions to help people build a questionnaire very quickly. There will be not even just to build a questionnaire, but also like to brainstorm what kind of questions, and also to build the stems. I mean, currently we're not using any platforms for it, but as a company, we leverage OpenAI. We use generative AI heavily in our day-to-day work. We use it, for example, when we want to demo to a new client. If we want to build a little demo for them, we quickly brainstorm what would be the good idea. We ask questions through OpenAI, and we ask OpenAI to generate some ideas as stems to be included. And then we use the ideas generated from OpenAI, put them into DALL-E to create those images so that our conversation becomes a little bit more interesting. The new ideas become more vivid, so better stem to show respondents. With that, we can expect people to make a better effort to give us even more concrete ideas. So it's everything takes 2 seconds, really. It's so quick, and then and it can be done at any time. Like sometimes, I guess in our industry we have to, this is our reality. A lot of times during the day you have no time to do this kind of creative work. At night you have nobody else to talk to. But now this is a virtual assistant, you can really easily bounce ideas off at any time and get really rich ideas. And sometimes another added benefit is that you don't have to hurt anyone's feelings. You don't have to say, no, this is not a good idea. You can just take whatever you want and very quickly move on. So yeah, I think there are just so many opportunities. This is really exciting. I mean, also for team building, for us, I mean, AI is just in our DNA. We really do leverage um, AI ideas of AI in pretty much everything we do. We did a munch and learn. We call it munch and learn instead of lunch and learn. We did a munch and learn some time ago when DALL-E just came out. Um, we what we did was we asked everyone to submit answers to three questions. First, what's your favorite animal? Second, your favorite movie. Third, your favorite artist. And then we sent the information to DALL-E and let DALL-E create a series of art represent this person with these three clues. So at the Munch and Learn, the reason we call it Munch and Learn is because we work in different time zones. Again, I think this is the new thing, not new, but it's just so common now. So that's why we decided we're just gonna switch it to Munch instead of Lunch and Learn. So yeah, at the Munch and Learn, we just show the images created by DALL-E, and then it's a game. Everyone, please guess who that is. Who behind these images, this animal, this artist, this movie, based on your knowledge of your coworkers, who do you think that is? It was such a fun experience. Everyone was just we had a good laugh, and the images were just stunning, really beautiful. We had a good time. So yeah,
Thank you, Kathy. That was super helpful and very interesting insights on your culture building as well. Thank you. So, as we wrap up the podcast today, any advice for our budding research? Sorry, let me take this again. As we wrap it up, any advice for our budding researchers out there?
try new things. Um, they're really available. Try the new tools. See how they could work for ourselves. Everyone's take is different. I think again, this is we're at the time when we can rely on a lot of resources to um, let our creative juice flow. So it's exciting. It's I think I've been hearing lot of questions about what about data security, what about this and that. So a lot of concerns. I think that's definitely necessary. Scrutiny is absolutely necessary. So it is about not sharing any confidential information. Definitely not share the new concept that you're supposed to test from your client. Don't put it on OpenAI. For sure, don't do that. But other than that, try. Build our prompt. Like a lot of people are saying, it's all about prompt engineering. How well we can prompt determines how well the outcome will become, how good the outcome will be. So I do agree with that. But I think researchers, we have a natural um, advantage. We are trained to ask questions. So I think we probably can make very good use of the new technology.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kathy. It's a wrap today. Thank you so much for taking the time, sharing so much valuable information with our audience. We will love to have you again for a panel interview that we will do with the attendees so far, and look forward to having you back then.
Thank you so much, Sumit.